Lai Ching-te, a former doctor from a poor mining family, was drawn into politics by the Taiwan Strait military crisis 27 years ago. Now the soft-spoken political veteran is tasked with thwarting the newly elected leader of an autonomous island that the Chinese Communist Party has promised to one day adopt. Lai, 64, the current vice president of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, won a widely watched election on Saturday to become Taiwan's next president. His victory gave the DPP a historic third consecutive term, fending off years of growing threats from China, Taiwan's far more authoritarian neighbor. The election showed the world the Taiwanese people's commitment to democracy, which I hope China understands. Lai told thousands of cheering supporters at a rally after his victory. Lai, who has long faced Beijing's ire for asserting Taiwan's sovereignty, said as president that he had an important responsibility to maintain peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, and pledged to continue dialogue with China based on the principles of human rights, dignity, and equality. At the same time, we are determined to protect Taiwan against China's constant threats and intimidation, he told reporters before his victory speech. Under President Xi Jinping, China's most stubborn leader in a generation, Beijing has increased diplomatic, economic, and military pressure on Taiwan, which it views as its territory that can be seized by force if necessary. Tensions across the Taiwan Strait are at their highest level since China fired missiles into Taiwan's coastal waters in 1996 to scare voters ahead of the island's first free presidential election, since a nascent democracy emerged from decades of authoritarian rule. For Lai, then a fresh-faced doctor at Tainan Southern City University Hospital, the missile crisis became a defining moment. I decided I had a duty to contribute to Taiwan's democracy and help protect this fledgling experiment from those who wanted it badly, he wrote in the Wall Street Journal last year. Lai hung up his white coat to run for office, first becoming a lawmaker, then a popular two-term mayor of Tainan, before serving as prime minister and, from 2020, vice president to current president Tsai Ing-wen. The doctor-turned-politician has now broken the 8-year curse of Taiwanese politics, a popular term referring to the fact that until Lai's victory, no party had been in power for 2 terms after entering Taiwan. Democracy, an unexpected journey. Lai called his research on politics an unexpected journey. Located in a poor mining village near the northern coast of Taiwan, Lai dreamed of becoming a doctor since childhood. He had 5 siblings and his mother raised them alone doing odd jobs. His father, a coal miner, died in a work accident when Lai was a small child. Lai was too young to remember his father. But one day I suddenly realized that my father's greatest value to me was that my family was poor, he said at an event last March. Growing up in such a family, we are more mature, more willpower and courage to overcome difficulties. After earning a bachelor's degree in physical medicine and rehabilitation in Taipei, Lai went to medical school in Tainan. He was a few years into a promising career as a doctor in Tainan when he was approached by a local DPP official. He asked the popular doctor to help the DPP politician in local election campaigns. This happened in 1994, less than 10 years after the DPP rose from Taiwan's democratic movement against the authoritarian rule of the Kuomintang, KMT, before the KMT ended the state of emergency in 1987 and slowly moved towards free elections. The KMT ruled Taiwan with an iron fist for nearly 4 decades after fleeing mainland China to the island after losing a civil war against communist forces there. Tens of thousands of political opponents were killed or imprisoned during the so-called White Terror, and the DPP was formed by many veterans of pro-democracy campaigns. When Lai was in university in Taipei, he and his roommate closely followed the news about the KMT's brutal crackdown on pro-democracy activists. I was full of doubts and worries about the future of this country. he said in a video released during his presidential campaign. Lai agreed to help the DPP in the local elections, but the candidate eventually lost. A year later, some democracy activists invited Lai to join the DPP to run for election. He rejected the idea at first. "I was born and raised in the countryside, in a poor place, and I always wanted to become a doctor. Now I've finally reached the point where I'm going to become the chief medical officer," he said in the campaign video. But his political friends refused to give up. Months later, a crisis erupted in the Taiwan Strait when China staged live drills and fired missiles at Taiwan, giving Lai a final push across the border.